Good morning, everyone. I'm having issues again with Instagram. It doesn't look like it's going to connect, and I'm really, really, really sorry. I am so excited today because we are finally going to give you the interview you've been looking for with regards to the EBOO detoxification, which, again, I always butcher the name, extracorporeal blood oxygenation and ozonation treatment, I believe. And Lori's going to come in and she'll tell me if all of that's working or whatnot. But yeah. So again, I apologize on the delay for getting this to you. We had some sound issues that completely ruined the footage that I had. I've salvaged some of them to show you today, but not all of it was saved, so we couldn't post it when we wanted to post it. So instead, we will bring my friend Lori here to you to discuss what you couldn't hear in the live treatment of me getting the EBOO. But first, why this series? Why detox? And it's because healing is so simple and it is so basic that we have lost that notion. We have the power to heal ourselves, and we're really not as complex as we've been led to believe and kind of manipulated into thinking for so many years. We have the power within ourselves to do that. My passion personally lies within regenerative healthcare. And in hindsight, it always has been in one way or another. Between my daughter and my dad, and even as a kid growing up, you know, there was always that twinge in the back of my mind that said, hey, do we really need to do that, or can we do that on our own? And and now I see, and it's basically being forced on me divinely and shoved down my throat because I've ignored the signs for too long. So it is what it is. Today's environment is ridiculously toxic. I mean, between the food we eat, the water we consume, the stuff we put on our skin, the things we put in our bodies, and to some degree, the stuff we're taking in an education system is toxic, and it's bombarding us. And our frequencies as human beings has fallen drastically. And we've handed our power over to a system that has no interest in healing root cause, but in masking symptoms to create a consumer. So I'm going to show you some very cost-effective ways and some more pricey ways. And as I go through and complete the regenerative healthcare practitioner course at the Institute of Regenerative Health, the importance of detox only grows, and you know, the urgency is there and the need is there. And my friend Lori, who's going to come in and discuss, will probably back me up on those claims, because things are crazy and they're not natural anymore. And I'm going to say by design as well. So take it or leave it. And I'm going to show you how simple and how important self-care and detox is to your mind, your body, and your soul as a whole. I'm going to be going around more places, showing you different treatments that may or may not aid you in your cleansing journey, if that's what you're looking to do, but you can be the judge of that. And you can also go check out the Institute of Regenerative Health.com, or check out my Professor Carrie Drinkwine for some amazing and educational videos. So without further ado, let me bring in my good friend, Lori Williamson, hi, Lori.
Hello.
How are you?
Great to see you.
You too. So Lori, you are the co-founder of Wellternative.
Correct.
Before we get started, tell me what Wellternative is and how and why that came to be.
So a group of us who were discarded in 2021 kind of came together to think of ways to serve our community. Just in our immediate community, there's a lot of telehealth, house calls, sometimes just sitting with people, delivering medication, bone broths, and our whole community kind of came together on this. So out of that came Wellternative, kind of pioneering a new way of health. We build a community We support one another, teach each other new ways, find innovative methods for detoxification and for treatments, and continuing on our education journey, all of us together sharing lots of information over time.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I can tell you, Lori is one of the people that helped me gain, or sorry, I should say, helped me lose my fear in knowing that I could take care of my dad better than a system who only called him a number. And she's the reason why he's here and why he's thriving, because she gave me that support where I needed it. So I owe you, I thank you, and I love you.
You actually, you took it, you took control. That is the biggest thing right now is people don't know, they're so confused and they don't know how to take control of their health. Um, so much information available out there. It's overload, bombarded, and it's just finding a good way to serve each individual. And your father has some pretty incredible needs, and you have been doing an amazing job of the nutrition and all aspects of his life. So amazing that you've been doing that for an incredible amount of time. So yeah, I think that you're incredible what you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks. And he's still here, so I'm grateful every day, you know?
Mhm.
What can
There's-
people Yeah, yeah, what can people gain from the Wellternative Clinic? Tell us what it looks like before we get too deep into everything here.
Okay, great. Yeah, so we started a private membership association that involves, we have a team of doctors and nurses, health coaches, nutritionists, a couple of other professionals involved. And we've decided to go with the membership model for legal purposes. Our doctors are really under attack. Our nurses are under attack. So able to serve people in a very holistic way. This was kind of the route that we decided to go after looking to Dr. Tenpenny and a few other doctors that have led in this down this kind of pathway. Well, it's a private membership. It can be paid monthly or annually. It's $100 a month or $1,000 a year by a doctor, some blood work, and a wellness team actually, in which you have monthly coaching calls, and we work with each individual for their goals. So that's where Wellternative came about. And within the membership, people have access to very innovative treatments, being all applications, very custom tailored intravenous treatments, um, as well as pulse electromagnetic frequencies. Well, and we are very focused on nutrition and building muscle. Building muscle is longevity. It helps with immune system response, with metabolism, for balancing hormones. It's just so many benefits to having muscle. It's like putting money in the bank. For, for
Yeah, yeah. And people can find you at wellternative.club, correct? If they're
correct.
looking for more information, I just want to get that out there before people start asking. But let's get into this EBOO.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to lie, this thing terrified me for days before I came to see you. I was like, what have I gotten myself into? This is insane. Oh my gosh. But we did it. We powered through. And I want to talk a little bit about how that started, because we didn't just rush into it. We jumped into the Catalyst EMS body system.
Correct.
So that's where they put this bodysuit on me, I guess, all over
Hmm.
every major muscle group. And well, you explain it better than me? 'Cause-
Great. Catalyst is a really wonderful system to help build muscle. activates, I think it's over 90% of your fast and slow twitch muscle groups without putting any pressure on joints. So, people that have shoulder, elbow, knee, and hip issues, it's a great way to stimulate muscle and activate muscle growth, as well as balance. And it's an activation suit. So, you are covering all your muscle groups except for the calves. They haven't got that far yet. That should be interesting over time if they do continue that direction. But it covers all the muscle groups, and you are put in front of a program in which it activates your muscle groups while you're doing 20 minutes, say, of different movements, which you did some movements, and they're quite basic
Yeah.
and for most people. And within this 20-minute time, you can really get some good muscle growth going. For myself, who's struggled with autoimmune for quite a few years, putting on muscle has been a challenge. And I've been able to manage to put on 12 pounds of muscle in over 2 years, which is really, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that's something to consider for people like my dad who are bedridden and don't move and have passive movements helping out the catalyst system. It was literally really cool because I didn't think it was doing much. And it's not like Dr. Hose, you guys, because this was my fear too. I don't like the feeling of Dr. Hose. I don't like it. I feel like it hurts and I don't like it. But this was different. It was similar, but it was very different. And that it wasn't that same zap type of thing, but you could feel your muscles contracting. And I have video of it, but the sound was completely destroyed. It's just terrible. And I think a day later, Lori, was when I could really feel my lower abdomen. And it was like I went through a marathon workout with just my lower abdomen and my glutes,
Hmm.
right? I couldn't believe it because I thought I was in decent shape, but is what it is. I'm not gonna argue. So yeah, we did that for 20 minutes, and then I hopped in the chair, and they made sure I was really, really warm. And yeah, in comes the IVs in both arms.
Correct.
So if you want to tell people about that process, how that starts, I've got a 6-minute clip that I can show that what we were talking about during that time too. That it's still, I apologize, like I said, about the audio, but it's not as bad as the majority of what we filmed. So
Hmm.
can you talk about EBOO a little bit?
Sure. So you said it right. You got it perfect. It's extracorporeal blood ozonation and oxygenation. There's two lines. One is an outtake line and one is an intake line. The machine is primed with a bit of saline mixed with a very low dose heparin. And then the intake line goes gently pumped. Oh, there you go. God. And goes through a filter. In that filter, it filters anything larger than zero point 0.2 microns out of the blood. Um, yeah, there's that filter. And then it's oxygenated, ozonated, and returned to the body, in which it's quite nice and bright red as compared to the blood that's coming out of the body. And once it's returned to the body, then it goes really well into effect to conquer mold, fungus, candida, parasites, anything that's not doesn't want a high blast of oxygen will not survive an ozone treatment in the blood. So all the critters that we're trying to detoxify from in the blood are therefore gone. We get 500 milliliters of blood cleansed in one sitting. So an average person has between 6 to 7 liters of blood.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, I'm gonna see if we can show this 6-minute clip here.
Right.
So, okay.
Says gunge.
So see how it gets heavy and then it drops down like a sediment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Very interesting, and I mean, I knew there was something, I just don't know what, so I was interested to see what would come out, regardless, whether it's fungus or, do you know what I mean? I mean, I know there's some sort of fungal in there because of the redness coming out in my face,
Okay.
right?
Interesting. Yeah. So this is very
It doesn't
interesting.
look like it's even moving.
It is. Yeah. It's so as soon as I flick it, it kind of drops down a bit. Like sediment. That's so interesting. So you can see how dark your blood is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Now, what would it look like normal
I can't really say there is such a normal.
anymore?
Everybody's blood is different coloring. Some is almost jet black and very thick and sticky. Those are the sickest people we see.
Is that an indicator for anything? in
Metabolic disease?
particular? Okay.
Yeah, long-term diabetes, type 2, uncontrolled insulin, high blood pressure sometimes over long periods of time. So here you go, you've got a lot of stuff in there, girl. Wow, this is exciting.
It's exciting and it's upsetting all at the same time.
Why is it upsetting?
Well, you take care of yourself, right? And it just goes to show you don't even know what level you're at.
Well, with blood, it's a closed system,
Yes.
right? And it
Yes.
requires our soft tissue and our lymphatic system and all of that to work in combination to work effectively. And when our blood is contaminated, we have troubles clearing our lymph and our soft tissue. So therefore, everything gets backed up. People get liver issues, kidney issues, thyroid, adrenal. So when we can clear out the blood a bit, give it a chance to support the lymphatic system as well as soft tissue, what we see is generally a person's third treatment is when we see a lot of stuff come out.
Really?
Yes, I've seen a lot.
Is that my clean blood over there?
We're gonna get.
Oy, oy, oy. Now, how many treatments do people usually come for?
It depends on their condition.
Yeah?
Mhm.
Like if somebody was just doing this, let's say for
Probably I would say,
Yeah?
seasonally. Just get that secured here. You okay?
I'm fine, yeah, yeah. All good.
So as you can see, this is still a little bit diluted, but look at the
Colors.
the colors.
Wow. Look at the freaking colors. Okay, so what's coming through this one? What has happened to this one to make it so pure? Like,
So it's hydration, a lot of hydration.
Okay.
There's oxygen, ozone, saline as well. So
Wonderful.
a tiny bit of saline. Throughout the whole treatment, we seldom use the full 500 mils of saline, but that's required with a tiny bit of heparin, just to prevent any kind of clotting. And for people that do have clotting issues, we'd have to look at their blood work before we make it
Right.
an informed decision. But also people have heparin allergies, so we do have ways to work with people with heparin allergies or vegan as well, who do not want animal product within their body. So
Right.
we use it's potassium citrate as part of the protocol. But as you can see, your blood is quite dark, even though you had a workout. So, oh boy, I'm seeing some stuff.
Oh, I'm glad you're seeing it.
Yeah,
And
this
I'm
is
glad it's
great.
going that way and not back
Yeah,
this
so
way.
everything over 0.2 micron gets filtered out of the blood, which is anything basically larger than a white blood cell.
So, for example, I know you had mentioned to me when we spoke another time that if you saw like white foam and stuff, what would that indicate?
So that would be indicative of biofilm, which is quite common in people that have autoimmune conditions, particularly Lyme's. It seems that people that have Lyme also, I shouldn't refer to it, it's Lyme disease, have multiple co-infections, such as Epstein-Barr, and I think there's a whole host of 30 different co-infections a person with Lyme can carry. And they struggle because those co-infections tend to hang out in the biofilm. They want to survive, and their survivability is dependent on our mucus buildup, which is inflammation, builds up over time. So I would say that you have a substantial infection or something going on.
And it's funny because, like I said, I've always known, but no one can tell me.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So it's so cool to see the variation. So cool. When did this start? And again, it's called EBOO. Anybody that's wondering.
It's extracorporeal blood oxygenation and ozonation. Second, Cliff. What did I just do?
Oh, that noise is terrible. I told you, I'm so sorry. Oh, I don't know why they were after us.
Yeah, so strange. That noise wasn't going on when we were here.
No, but that was the better of the recording.
Wow.
It was crazy what was going on when I
So-
brought it home.
I found it grating, so I hope everybody is still with us here. So I appreciate that. So a bit about that. So when you had your treatment done, I was able to see quite a bit of sediment. And sediment could mean a lot of different things because we aren't able to really send it off to a lab, the filtration to a lab to get it tested. We can only gauge. It does tend to make me think of mold or candida or a fungus being exposed to some kind of oxygenation, and that comes out nice and white and flaky. And then if you like, you can see it, and it's on the top. It can float on the top, but if you flick the tubing, it'll go down to the bottom and it'll kind of stick. So that's interesting. And then also stuff that looks like very thick kind of spit looking in the tubing, in the top of the tubing. That is when we were had our training. That is biofilm, and we were able to get quite a bit of that out of you the first treatment, which was really cool seeing that.
100%. I've got a couple more clips that are really, really good. And they're smaller, so we won't put you through all of that.
So
Crazy.
that was really great.
Awesome. So here, we'll show you exactly what we're talking about here. And this one's just about a minute and a half for anybody. I know. And again, I apologize for the noise. Wherever this noise came from, came while we were recording. Clearly it's a controversial thing. And I guess a lot of what I do is, so that's what we get. So bear with us. Again, I apologize, you guys, but here's what was coming through my tubes.
So this is a bit of Amanda's blood. This is the blood filter, and this is the filter that filters out anything over 0.2 micron. And it's got some long fibers here. The blood comes in, shoots up through here, is oxygenated, ozonated, and it runs through the secondary filter and then back into Amanda's body. And here's the outtake line. I'm just going to show you a little bit here. So see how dark it is, and then she has that kind of shiny, bubbly, sedimenty stuff that we see. Just going to take you through here. Yeah, you can see the tiny shiny flecks. I just wonder if that's heavy metals. Yeah.
Holy moly, look at this one.
Yeah.
Look at it.
Yeah, that one's pretty shiny there.
Wow.
So, and then there's more in it. So there we go. And this is the pump, and it's just a peristaltic pump. And this is the IV that runs down. It's just saline with a tiny bit of heparin. There we go.
That was a little bit better.
Yeah, yeah. The shorter version. I pulled the shorter versions where I could, so that was great. Yeah. So again, let's talk about who can and who should be looking at EBOO as a treatment.
Okay, so we're seeing all sorts of people that want to optimize their health and realize that, we're being poisoned from the sky, from the water, from our food, and are taking their health seriously. So we're seeing those people usually at the change of every season is their goal for an EBOO. People that are going trying to recover from something as serious as Lyme or cancer. They have protocols for that. Each particularly disease has a certain protocol. We're connected with 58 clinics across the USA that have been sharing their information, working, what's not working. So we have a lot of knowledgeable doctors that are sharing with us the amazing protocols that are working for people. So for somebody with Lyme, it's usually 4 EBOOs 1 week apart in a row, just because we're trying to get at the biofilm, which is very tricky to get at because it proliferates very quickly, just like Candida does as well.
Mhm.
So have some kind of serious infection, it's more frequent. And if it just, I guess it would depend on the need. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So seasonally is what your recommendation would be on a normal basis.
Well, that's what I'm trying to apply to myself as well is seasonal. I was able to get an infection. I had a mold infection, unfortunately, and I was able to get that under control. I did 3 weekly, and then now my plan is to continue. I'll do one spring, so that'll be soon, and then I'll do one in the fall. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, we get a lot of questions about this one, but what is the cost of a treatment?
So for members, it's there are 2 different streams to go about getting a treatment, and there's different pricing. So to go the full membership, the cost is $900, and that's a doctor and a nurse running that, as well as it includes the the Catalyst workout prior to, as well as um, an IV hydration after with vitamin revitamin and mineralization after the treatment. So
Mhm.
and then for people that are just coming in and don't want to do any of that, any of the membership, it's $1,100.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we do need blood work prior to this. So being a member there's a lot of benefits to being a member, not just having a team look after, but stay on top of blood work, which is pretty key. So blood work required prior to an EBOO is a bit specialized, but it's easily done, and I think it's like a $60 cost or something like that. Uh,
Okay.
and I'm just thinking of hmm, yeah, anything else? There is a protocol before you have a treatment done, as well as afterwards. So something you need to have a discussion about to learn about prior to going into it. Um, it's a really up and coming treatment. I noticed that there are some clinics now in Canada that are starting to offer it, which is great. I think it's going to be needed because our blood is very contaminated. Working with alongside a lot of live blood people in that industry, what they're seeing in the blood is very alarming. So having something to immediately deal with that need is great. This technology came out of Malaysia about 20 to 25 years ago, um, particularly the filtration. And that idea is just fantastic for people that are having some kind of heavy metal um, toxicity, because it does have the capacity to clean that out. Mhm.
Yeah, it's crazy. I couldn't believe my eyes. I honestly didn't know what was happening. I was a little scared, to be honest.
It's because you can see tiny flecks in the blood that are quite shiny. And, I mean, I can only gauge whether that would be what that is, but I think would be a heavy metal.
Yeah, and we had all those little bubbles and the white like foamy stuff, and it was just like, is this how it should be coming out, or is this what it looks like in there coming out? Holy moly, this is gross. But
Did,
yeah, and again, I do a lot of the things. I'm fairly healthy. I mean, I let myself slack on behalf of taking care of everybody else, but not badly.
mhm.
Like it's crazy. So like you said, we saw some mold, we saw a bunch of things, like so gross.
But your body normally can handle all of that. Like your body's been dealing with it, doing a great job of it. Otherwise, you'd be very sick at the time, So your body's doing it. So what we did is we reduced the toxic load and gave your immune system a lot of support with the ozone and oxygenation. So, I mean, it's not just for sick people, it's for well people too, that are looking just it's very anti-aging with the high
Mhm.
there's just so many applications. Ozone has been around for over 100 years. It's not a new technology. It's something that's very underused considering how much it can benefit a person. And I'm talking all applications. There is so many ways to get ozone into the body. You can drink ozonated water. You can apply ozonated oil. There's ozone saunas. There's a wonderful place in London, Ontario called Uptown Wellness. Lisa and Ali own, and they offer some pretty unique ozone applications as well. There's insufflation for people that are suffering with prostate issues, prostate cancer. There's also vaginal insufflation for people that are struggling with any kind of reproductive issue in a woman. It's
Mhm.
quite amazing, as well as ozone applied to skin infections or for people that have any kind of melanomas. There are extremely good positive results out there. There's a ton of information online, even in the mainstream kind of studies. You can still access some great,
For now,
for now, yes.
because not a lot of people know about it before it can get gaslit. So
There are home available kits available. Like can't recommend one over the other, but for people who are looking to add ozone to their life, to their daily, or if they have some kind of illness, there are home kits for about $1,000, I think, or maybe even less. And that would be great for somebody that's going through chemo or cancer treatment, or just needs some kind of supportive care.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Now, when I was there, we had spoke about the possibility of this treatment removing things like PFAS or maybe spike proteins. Is that something that people look to have removed when they come in? Right? Because they say
Yes,
PFAS are
that was
forever chemicals, and you're
mhm,
finding that this treatment can pull those out of your body, correct?
correct.
That's amazing in
So,
itself.
mhm. So the team that came to train us, Angie and Dr. Cochran, they came from the U.S. to train a group of us. There was 15 who was trained that weekend, which was really great. So Ontario has 15 amazing doctors that want to serve their communities. Um, so they came, and when they did their training, they talked about in the US, they're able to send away the filters for analyzing after treatment. So they analyzed the um, the filters prior to and after treatment. And prior to, there was no PFOS. And after a treatment, they actually were able to see that there was removal of PFAS, as well as they did an application in the US for something to do with that. So keep you posted on that.
Yeah, please do,
Hmm.
because the more we know, the better off we are, in my opinion, you
Hmm.
know? So maybe you can give us a rundown for people that are listening? What types of conditions would really, really, really benefit from this treatment?
Sorry, Amanda, you blacked out for just 1 second. Can you
Oh,
repeat?
yeah, yeah, yeah. What type of conditions would really benefit from this specifically?
So a lot of people with autoimmune, any kind of toxicity, people that have had some sort of vaccine injuries, we are seeing benefit, a lot of benefit for people with vaccine injuries. Um, we actually had a gentleman, it was such an amazing story. He was gaslit so terribly after his second vaccine, in which he went flat out on the floor. He must have convulsed. So he went through the system for about 2 years with no help and no answers. He had put himself on the MAID list. It was so devastating. Like his pain levels were like a 9, 10. He had developed the um, in the legs, and just I think he was living pain 24/7. So he signed himself up for MAID, and we were able to meet him. And I think it must have been a divine intervention for sure. So we just talked to him. He literally did not have the information. He didn't know of the FLCC protocols or anything for vaccine injuries. He hadn't heard of any of it. And I was just like, wow, I can't believe people don't know that information, because, it just seems to be something we discuss quite often. So we gave him that information and started him on a vaccine protocol. And over about 2 to 3 weeks, we got a call from him. He's resistant at first because he's been let so much by the our healthcare industry. I don't know what you want to call it, sick care industry. So he'd been let down so badly. He didn't really trust us at first, and he tried the protocol, and he sent a message about 2 weeks in, and his pain levels had reduced significantly to the point where he only had to take his pain medication once at nighttime. And he had taken himself off the MAID list, which was
Wow.
his moment there. It was incredible to hear because he really was a hurting person. And I think that's happening a lot right now. People are being gaslit, there's no solutions. There's nobody to talk to. So they're resorting to getting MAID because you can get in for MAID in 3 months, whereas you have to pay for and wait like 9, 10 months for an MRI. It's just craziness what's going on.
Oh, it's insane.
It's heartbreaking. So we don't have every solution. We have a team that's come together that's committed to help people find solutions. We're learning. Our doctors are actually still going through education right now for functional medicine, just trying to learn. We're all trying to come together to create and find ways. We're pioneering something new together, which is really cool.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So I want to show this little video. It's about a minute long, and then you can explain it after it's over, if that works for you.
Sure.
Okay.
So we're just getting ready to close things down. It's been 15 minutes of treatment, and Amanda's blood is looking, if you can see the difference between the...
Tell them what you see in it.
Okay, I'm just going to say hi. So here we go. So this is usually an indication of pretty high inflammation. Here, this liquid is too heavy, so it gets dropped out the bottom of the filter here, so it doesn't make it back into the bloodstream. So this is what we call inflammatory marker fluid. And she's got just about a fairly significant amount for somebody her size. Here we go.
Do you want to explain what that is, Lori? Obviously.
For those of you who couldn't hear it, so that's just like a kind of overflow container. So when things go through the filter, it's pressure, it moves everything upwards, so upwards and then back in through the system, but something that's too heavy, so fluid that's full of inflammation is very heavy, so that will drop out. It usually just drops out, drizzles out tiny little particles over the treatment, which is about 50 minutes, and that was right near the end of your treatment there. So I think we had just under 300 milliliters, if I remember correctly, of
Yeah.
that. So that's what our body creates to kind of cool things down. Yeah.
And would you say that's a significant amount or
There's some
normal?
ways, but like who's to say really? Because we are so created differently. Like we can't really compare each other because it could be somebody could, I've seen somebody who's almost filled that, like
Wow.
just over 1,000 milliliters, and you would look at them and think, wow, they don't look like they're highly inflamed. So
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Now, are there any conditions that you don't think would respond to this type of treatment?
So there are two conditions in which we should not do, and that is somebody who is experiencing ascites, which is end stage of liver disease, in which they have to go get drained by paracentesis weekly. So that's one person. Another person is somebody that has extremely low red blood cells because we require the ozone and oxygen require red blood cells to be carried into the blood and through the body. So it wouldn't be very effective. But given that somebody who has deficiency in red blood cells can still come and actually have a treatment just for the filtration alone. The filtration alone is something that's very highly beneficial. It's not just the ozone and oxygen, it's the filtration that is,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's ways, people that have any kind of heparin allergies, we can work with that. We have other solutions for that. There are people that are vegan that do not want to have heparin. There are ways around that as well. We use another product. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. And I know what this is a kind of a loaded question, but what does normal blood typically look like when it comes out now versus, I guess, sick blood? Did we cover that one, or am I thinking of the video that is deleted?
Yeah, so there isn't really a norm. Everybody's blood is very different, varying colors. So after a workout, your blood will flow nicely, and that's what I'm looking for more so than the color. How is it flowing? Is it thick and sticky? That you can tell on in the first couple minutes of the draw, just to see how it's moving. The color is an indication. Some people just have really dark blood, but I am noticing that people with vaccine injuries have exceptionally dark blood. That, you know how yours lifts beautifully into that red, theirs does not lift very well. It doesn't.
Okay.
So that's one thing I have noticed. People with an autoimmune disease, they have thick and sticky blood as well. People with type 2 diabetes, very, very thick and sticky. Um,
Okay.
so it's just when it's just for the first few minutes, you remember when the draw line starts and we're just starting to pump it through?
Hmm.
Yeah, can tell. Yours
Wow.
was a really low. You had a workout, and that's why we have the catalyst because we want people to have a good workout, their muscles pumping really well, because then the treatment works much more effectively. It'll clean through the muscle tissue, through the soft tissue, and really.
That's awesome. And for people that are just joining, it's not an actual workout. Um, I have video, but it was ruined. There was some noise interference and just crazy what was going on. But it's a suit called the Catalyst EMS Body System, and you get put into this suit, and it basically stimulates all your major muscle groups while you kind of stand there and do basic moves
Mhm,
to the
mhm.
guy on the iPad, right?
Yeah.
But you don't feel like you're working out until you're done working out. It's crazy. It's completely crazy.
Uh,
So just to put everybody at ease, if you're thinking about this, no, you don't have to go in for a full-on 20-minute aerobic workout. It's, you know, the suit is there and it does the work for you, and everything's pumping after that. So if you guys have any questions for Lori or want to know anything about EBOO, drop them in the comments, and we'll get those answered for you now. But Lori, is there anything that that you want to bring up that maybe I've missed? Or
I think you did a great job. I was just going to say, Renee was very easy on you in the catalyst.
I wish he wouldn't have been, because I can handle that. I can handle that.
Oh boy, yeah.
So speaking of Renee, I've got one more little clip here, and this is him explaining what's in the filter. So we'll just show this one, and then that's the end of my clips for you.
The ozone comes down here, the blood comes up.
Right.
As the blood comes up, these filaments are really sticky. And as the blood comes up, the ozone's coming down and oxygenating and ozonating the blood, and the particles stick to these little filaments. Anything larger than a white blood cell will stick to these little filaments. And so you can see most of it stayed down there, but you've got a bunch up here.
Now, they were saying that they saw the silver flecks in the line. That's heavy metals, yes?
Can be, yep.
Oh, so toxic. No, I'm just kidding.
Did you feel better? I guess
You know
that's-
what? I wasn't sure. I think I was overly anticipating feeling better. But like we had gotten in the car and driven to Kentucky that day, so I sat in the car all day. But the next day, I felt phenomenal. I felt like a
Right.
weight had almost been lifted out of my body. It was neat. I don't really know how to explain it, but I mean, my mind has been clearer. I've been able to retain more information coming in, because I've got overstimulation everywhere in this house, obviously, and all over my life. But yeah, and just how do you explain it? My skin looks better. I know that's, but everything just feels better and lighter. And I've been able to go into my food detoxes, and it's actually doing something now, which is crazy. Instead of before, it's just maintaining the norm, right? But whatever's pulled out has really amplified the results of that clean eating and that detoxification. So I found it really, really, really interesting in that regard. And those are the things I'm kind of looking for, right? And you had mentioned Ali and Lisa, and they're next on my list. So next week I'm headed to their little awesome studio, and they're going to teach us about lymph drainage and the oxygen and ozone sauna. So I can't wait, and we're going to film that one as well. So you'll get to see me all crazy and hot mess, which I'm sure nobody cares about anymore because they're used to it from me. But Lori, tell us again where everyone can find you for more information.
So get a hold of us is drop a message to Lori at wellternative.club.
And there's the website for anybody that's looking to get in touch with Lori. And again, you said how many places offer the EBOO treatment in Canada now? I know it's fairly new in Canada. It started in Mexico. Is that correct?
So Malaysia is where it originally started. There are places that offer it in Mexico. 58 clinics across the US that we know of. And I think that we are the second that we know of in Canada. But I think there's other ones starting to bring it to, they're noticing and seeing its benefit and value. Something I forgot to mention is that when you do have an application of ozone EBOO, it does work effectively in the blood for up to 6 weeks. So it's quite a long period of time where it will stay activated in the body, which is basically it's going to be an immune support, as well as a detoxification tool, because the ozone molecules an extra molecule and it wants to bind to other things. So it'll spend that time binding to toxins and pulling it out of your body.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it, and I'm sorry our footage got ruined. It's always a bummer, but
That's
always for a reason.
wonderful. I love seeing all that coming and knowing it's not going back into people. It is extremely fulfilling for me. I just think it's incredible. It's a great tool. I'm not saying it's the solution for everybody, but if you are going to take your health seriously and get things together, it's an excellent tool to add. Yeah.
100%, 100%. And yes, I would say definitely worth it at least once a year. At least. You know, if you're concerned about cost, I would definitely, because it's not something I would have checked out on my own ever, probably just because I would have been like, whoa. But to see what came out of me as a healthy individual, I was blown away. And I can only imagine, you know, what the rest of the world is dealing with if I thought I was healthy, you know? So again, thank you, Lori. If you could stick around for a little bit, that would be great. I'm just going to have a little chat here, and then we will let everybody head out. Thanks for joining us, Lori.
Thank you.
So again, you know, get a hold of Lori, Wellternative.club. She is absolutely amazing. And, you know, again, some really simple and inexpensive ways to kickstart your detox program. Focus on your lymph, you know, get up and move your body, dry brush your skin, stretch, exercise, move. But you need to move because your lymph system doesn't have a pump. It relies solely on you and how you're moving. So, you know, stand up while you're working, take a stretch break. And again, when you're moving your lymph, you want to move things towards the heart so things can filter out properly. Again, support your kidneys. You want to make sure your kidneys are filtering properly as well, you know, with astringent red grapes. It's as simple as eating red grapes in the morning or having a lemon water first thing in the morning when you get out of bed. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. You want to eat high frequency organic foods to detox at a cellular level. Okay. The highest frequency foods that you can possibly put into your body are fruits, herbs, and algae. And I know a lot of people don't like algae, but they are at the top of the frequency chart. And if you're putting those in, it allows your body to heal and remove the inflammation and whatnot. The next level is vegetables. And from there, you're going to go to nuts and seeds, which is crazy. And yes, I'm a meat eater, but I'm going to say this out loud. If you look at the frequency chart of food, meat has a frequency of 0. Absolute. I better not do this because we're going to get some people with the crazy Illuminati stuff. So it has a frequency of 0, right? And that makes sense because it's dead. It's dead carcass. It has a frequency of 0 going in, so it's going to have a frequency of 0 for healing in your body. Drink clean, pure water. If you have the means, go and get a molecular hydrogen water bottle. I can't say enough about it. I've been using them for 3 years. They're amazing. They help heal your gut. They help heal issues in your body. They help decrease inflammation. And there's tons and tons and tons of studies out there now that are going above and beyond to show you this. You can sign up for my newsletter at amandaforbes.ca and my detox regeneration community called Embrace Empowerment, Regenerative and Holistic Healthcare at amandaforbes.ca. And again, my next segment on detox series, I'm taking you to Uptown Wellness with Ali and Lisa, and we are going to learn all about their lymph drainage protocols, as well as check out what all of that entails, and you'll get to see the whole thing and what's required of you and what positive effects that will have on you, as well as checking out their activated oxygen sauna. So we will see you next time, and we'll have a great day, have a great week, and we'll talk soon. Bye, everybody.